The broadcast is now starting.
Hi everyone, this is Pam Pazzi with Focus IT, and this is part 2 of our 3-part series on our PointCentral admin training that we're offering here in the month of February. We're going to be starting this call here in just a few minutes. We want to give everyone a chance to get logged in. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy day and joining us. We'll be starting here shortly. Thank you. Okay, everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started, and we'll let everyone else join in a little bit later. And again, I'll be providing the recording to this call after the call today to everyone who registered for the call. All right, so I really didn't mean to close that window, so I do apologize. Let's bring that back up real quick. Today on our call, we're going to be covering on the PointCentral admin page, we're going to be covering the template sets, the Cardex database, reservations, status, and reports. So let's go ahead and let's get started. Let's open up our PointCentral admin page, and let's start out by talking about the template set. Now, everyone should be familiar in Point with templates. And if you're not using templates, you're missing out on a wonderful option, a wonderful feature that Point has to offer everyone. Basically, inside Point, you want to make sure that you open the product and you go down to templates. Within the Point application is where you're going to build out the templates. They are built out here. They're not built out in the Point Administrator window. The Point Administrator window, basically what it's doing is it's simply creating a placeholder on the server for that information to be stored. Okay, so I do apologize. I looked over and noticed that several people said that they're unable to hear me. Can someone please note in the chat window if you can hear me, or am I having phone problems? Good. Thank you, Jeff. Okay. Thank you, everyone. All right. So let's go ahead and keep going. I apologize for the interruption. Anyways, within the PointCentral admin page, you'll notice here that I have 2 template sets. You can have more than one template set. You can have a template set for each one of your branches. You can have a template set for the home office. You could even have a template set for each one of your loan officers if you choose to do so. It's all about creating placeholders on the server for the template information to be stored and to grant access rights to those templates. So let's talk about what it would take to create a new template set. If you went to templates and you clicked on add a template set, basically it's going to ask you to give it a name. So for the sake of this, I'm just going to call it demo. Okay, but most importantly, the next box where it's going to ask is it's going to ask you if you want to copy the templates from a prior folder. Would you like to copy the Calyx default templates? Would you like to copy the organizational template set? So you'll choose one of those. And when you do, it's going to open up into a new screen, and it's going to say, do you want to copy all the template files, or do you only want to copy certain things? Maybe you only want to copy over the loan programs, or maybe the borrower master template. Maybe you're no longer using the prospect master template, so you uncheck that because you don't want it to be included. You simply say, let me choose, come down and uncheck the ones that you don't want to copy, and simply come down and click on Add Template Set. Okay, The next most important thing is you can do that and you can create as many template sets as you want on your PointCentral admin page. But if you do not assign security to those sets, if you do not grant rights to give a user the rights to see that set, did you know that when they log into Point, if they haven't been granted rights to a template set, that it automatically by default is going to pull their templates from their local C drive. Now, everyone should be familiar when you install Point on your clients. By default, the system automatically creates a PNT data folder, but most importantly, it creates a PNT template folder. This template folder is created, and of course mine is, because I do a lot of demos, is a little junked up, but it's created with your basic folders, and in those folders, it's going to contain the Calyx defaults. So again, if you do not grant a user rights to templates, you need to understand that if they're not granted rights to at least one template set within your list of template sets, when they open Point and they go to templates, they're going to be accessing templates on their local C drive. Okay, it's as simple as that. It'll be their local C drive. All right. Now, what happens if you come in and you start granting access rights? Well, if we were to go to demo, again, as I said earlier in our first training call that we did, I much prefer to use group access rights than I do individual user access rights when I'm setting up security on my data folders. Okay, that's very important on the data folder side. On the template side, you kind of have to take a little bit of a different attitude. On the template side, if you're going to have one template for the whole company, you're going to want to set up group access. If you're going to do individual templates for each one of the users, then you'd come down and you'd add the user access rights here. We're going to come up to group access rights, and you'll notice that these are the groups, and they're the same ones that we saw last week. What you're going to do is you're going to come in and you're going to choose a group. So let's say I choose the processors. I want the processors to have access to the demo template set. Okay. Now, by granting them this, by doing processors without checking any box down here, coming down and clicking the button that says Add Group Access Rights, that means that the processors will have access rights to these templates. If I don't check any of these boxes, it doesn't mean they won't have rights to use the templates that are in there. What it does mean is they won't have rights to make changes to those templates. Let me show you what I mean. On the one that I'm using now, if we go back and I open up my original template set, if I come down here to my manager group, you'll see that I gave them rights. They have rights to the template set, but I didn't give them rights to any of the groupings within the template set. I didn't give them rights to loan programs, borrower master template, prospect, data, custom forms, anything. Okay, so I'm logged in as a manager into my Point system. So if I'm logged in as a manager to my Point system and I open up a file, by not granting me right to the template sets, does that mean I'm not going to see my loan programs? Of course not. I can still see my loan programs. Does that mean I won't see my closing cost scenarios? Of course not. I can still see my closing cost scenarios. I can still see my drop-down list. Okay. Even if I was to not open an existing file, if I was to create a new file, if I was to click on New, and I was to come down, it'll still let me choose my borrower master template. And it'll still, again, let me come in and change out my loan program if I choose to do so. It doesn't mean that I won't be able to access the templates that are created within that template set. What it means, everyone, is it means that I don't have rights as a loan officer or a processor. I don't think you'd ever do it to a manager. I don't have rights to come down here to templates, and I don't have rights to do anything with them. I can click here, and I can see what they look like. I could even double click on them, but nothing's going to happen because I'm not allowed to edit them. I can't come over here and click on New or Open or Preview or anything. Okay? I'm pretty much locked out from the ability to be able to come in and add templates, change templates, make updates to them. I can do none of that. And again, how that works is when you're assigning access rights to a template, Okay, and we'll go back to the demo. When you're granting access rights, if you want them to be able to utilize the templates within a points file, you strictly select their group and you don't check any of the boxes below. And you simply come down and click on add group access rights. If you want them to be able to go to the templates and you want them to be able to add loan programs and closing cost scenarios, and you want them to be able to do reports and different things like that, create wonderful custom forms and stuff, what you have to do is you have to select their group and you have to come down here and select the boxes. And you can do that down here by simply clicking select all. And then if it's not a manager group and you want to restrict what they can do, you can simply come back over and start unchecking things. But the select all will mark them all for you. And then you can grant the manager access rights. But now I have a group out there called read-only group. On the read-only group, I wouldn't want them to be able to have access to change anything. I'm only letting them read the files to begin with. So of course, I would, at the minimum, allow them access to the templates, but I wouldn't allow them access to go in and make any changes. But if they're in a read-only group where they're only allowed to read a file and they're not allowed to make changes to it, to be very honest, they don't even need access to the templates because they're not going to be able to go into any of the drop-downs and they're not going to be able to change the loan program or the closing cost scenario. They're not going to be able to click on new and choose from a borrower master template. So if I don't need to give them rights at all, I simply don't select them. And then, of course, I can come up and select assigned loans only. So let's pretend this is loan officers. Loan officers, I want to give them rights, but I don't want them messing with I could come in and do select all and then come over here and decide. I don't want them messing with my loan programs or my closing cost scenarios. I don't want them messing or doing anything on the prospect master side because we do everything on the borrower master side, but because they are the loan officers, maybe I'll let them have rights to that. Probably not. I will give them the ability maybe to import or export data. Maybe, maybe not. Custom forms, okay. Escrow table, probably not. But most importantly, I would want to give them access to print groups. And those are only going to be the shared, okay? They can still create their own print groups, but if I wanted to give them access to print groups to be able to go in and make changes, I may or may not want to do that, okay? Maybe I want to give them access to reports. Well, okay, that one I would probably leave for a loan officer. They can't do any harm if they want to go in and create reports. If they start messing up the existing reports that are out there, I would simply take the rights away. And as you can tell, we can continue to go down the list, but you get the idea. So basically, you can pick and choose what rights you want to give them. If everything is unchecked, they have rights to the templates and they can utilize them inside of a borrower file, but they cannot access them through the templates and make any changes or do anything with them. If you want them to have full rights to everything, you simply check all boxes. So it does work quite nicely, and templates really don't get used as much as they should. Because in reality, you definitely want to restrict from a company level what you want your loan officers to be granted, what you want them to be able to do and not do. Most companies on the loan officer side, they simply have access to the templates, but they have no rights to the templates button. So they don't have rights to go down and click on templates and come in here and make any changes, add anything, or do anything like that. The processors are given a little bit more limited, but mostly it's controlled by managers. Now, if I wanted to have this set for one loan officer, I could simply do a single. I give no group access rights, and I singly give one loan officer access to these templates. So that means any other user logging into the system will never, ever see what is built out under this template set. The only person who will be able to see what it is would be the user that's assigned. Okay, so it really does work quite nicely. It does a good job, and it doesn't get the full, no one really uses it to its full value. So stop and think about it, and think about how you might want to restrict, because you've had people go in and make changes to loan programs or closing cost scenarios or things like that that you never wanted them to be able to do, and you didn't know that you could actually block them out. And you can give rights to certain things and not all things. So go back and take a look at your PointCentral admin page and lock down that security. You'll be glad. Okay, let's talk about Cardex. All right, so Cardex works the same way. If you come into Cardex, okay? And you go in if you come into Cardex and you go into it, you'll see that I have a simple one Cardex database. If I edit it, you'll see down here that this Cardex database has no rights. It's the same philosophy for the Cardex as it is the templates. If I can have as many Cardex databases as I want to build in the system, again, if I don't assign rights to the Cardex database, then no one's going to see it, no one's going to be able to use it. And then, of course, by default, it doesn't mean that the user won't have rights to a Cardex. They will. It simply means that the Cardex is going to be stored on their local machine, and the only one who's going to have rights to see their Cardex is going to be them. Okay? I really never recommend doing that on a Cardex. Basically, what I do recommend to my clients is control your Cardex. Let your users know that your Cardex is your central library. Your Cardex is a very important tool. It's your central library for the company, and you do not want it junked up. So you want them to think twice as they go in and they use it. What I mean by that is we talked about this in our point training, and we talked about how important the Cardex or the role that the Cardex can play within a company. And a Cardex, what makes it so nice is you have the ability to come in, set up your basic contact information, and you have the ability to apply notes. What's so nice about that, everyone, is you can come in and you can add all of your lenders to your Cardex, and then down here under the notes section, you can put all of the information pertaining to that lender. You can put their mortgagee clause, you can put their junk fees, you can put their standard Fannie Freddie underwriting guidelines, things like that. That particular lender's little quirks, or who the best rep is to work with that lender, or whatever it might be. And then you can tell everyone if they want information on a lender, go to the Cardex. Okay, it's all in the Cardex. If they have, if they're working on a loan in the system and they're going to go to the track agent list screen, it's very important to make sure from this screen you're utilizing the Cardex. Now, for anyone who wasn't on my prior calls, the agent fields are tied to the Cardex. You'll notice that here it says contacts, and next to it has this little icon with a circle and a line under it. If you click in the box where it's indicated that this field is tied to the Cardex, you go up and you click on the Cardex, and you come in and you select any one of the entries in the Cardex, and you click select. What it does is it auto-populates that information directly into the point file for you, and you don't have to rekey it. But what's also nice about that is if you have one that is already there and an existing loan, and you didn't know that you wanted to use the Cardex as your centralized database, click on the same field where the information is entered. And when you come up and you click on Cardex, instead of opening the Cardex, it's going to ask you, do you want to add this as a new record? And if you say yes, it's going to take all the information from here and populate it into here, allow you to save and close it. It's now a permanent part of your Cardex. Everyone is using the same information. So now you never have to worry about, going to multiple places to update phone numbers or email addresses or contact information. You don't have to keep passing around sheets and hoping people don't lost it on this lender's junk fees or that lender's junk fees or changes to mortgagee clauses or anything like that. Everyone is told to go to the Cardex, use the Cardex, it's all documented there. So because you have the ability to use that as such a wonderful tool, you don't want people creating local Cardexes. You want to make sure that you come in and you want to make sure that you grant rights. Now, rights to the Cardex is really pretty straightforward. You have two options. You select the group and you grant them rights. And you'll notice down here that this is already pre-checked. I cannot click in that box. They get read-write. It's by default. It can't be changed. It's all or none. They either have rights to the Cardex or they don't. So that's the only downfall. You can have the potential that users can go in and change critical stored information in the Cardex. You just have to make sure that you let everyone know there will be accountability within your company and how critical that Cardex is to the livelihood of your company and how it makes for a wonderful library for everyone that's there, and also makes it nice for all your new employees coming in. Okay? So be sure to take some time and set up those Cardexes. You can have different Cardexes. Most companies have one centralized Cardex, so they're storing their data in one location and not multiple. But also there are some companies out there that will do individual Cardex for each one of their branches. So that's usually about the basis. I never see Cardex for individual users. It doesn't mean people aren't doing it, but mostly it's a centralized one for the entire company, or they will break it down by branches. Okay. No, everyone, I'm not going to get into the rule engine during the training. If you would like training on Calix's rule engine, reach out to them. They can set up a training call with you and one of their trainers. There's a little bit to doing that rule engine. It does a really nice job. What I can tell you is if you're a small company, 5 users or under, you may not want to bother with it. If you're over 5 users, you may want to look into the rule engine. The rule engine allows you to go in and allows you to create rules. It simply says if certain fields aren't filled in, you can't save the loan. If certain information isn't entered, you can't move forward to the next field. You can't do different things. It does a really nice job. It helps you make sure that you have data integrity within your Point application. Okay, what it does is it can pop up little windows to remind people as they move from one field to the next if something's not filled out, or it can actually block them and prevent them from moving forward until they go back and complete the fields that are necessary. This has been a really good tool for my customers that have gone in and used this by making sure that if all 6 of the critical fields, is it five or 6? Boy, I'm pulling a mind blank, everyone. Making sure that all 5 or 6 of the critical fields are filled in, that justifies a loan application, that other critical data is filled in so that you have all that you need for your reporting. Okay, so there's some really cool things that you can do with that. Reservations. Everyone knows when a file gets opened in Point places the reservation on that file. So my loan that I have open right now, the last 4 digits is 4944. If we come into reservations, you'll see here that it's showing that my file is open. They're showing what folder it's in, and they're showing who has it open. Okay, so you can come in here and you can see who has what file open. And you probably ask yourself, why do you care? Okay, so long as people are working and the job's getting done and the loans are making it to the closing table, it doesn't really matter, which is perfectly fine. But what you do need to realize is that loans get hung, okay? When you are in a file, if you don't get to close out of that file properly, if you don't get to come up and hit X and say, no, you don't want to save and close it, maybe you lose access to your internet, you get disconnected. Maybe you have a power outage and the system does a crash and shuts down on you, whatever it may be. There'll be times that these reservations get hung. Okay, someone will say, I'm trying to get into this file and it will not allow me in. It says I'm already in it, but I'm not. What you have to do as an administrator is you have to come into reservations. You have to find that user who says the file's hung, and you need to come over here and check the little box, and you need to come over here and you need to delete the reservation. Okay, I'm not going to do it on this one because if I do, this individual is going to email me and be very upset. Okay, all I'm doing is I'm disconnecting them from the file. Okay, I'm not deleting the file. Okay, everyone says the first thing they panic of, will there be data loss? Unfortunately, yes. Okay, there will be data loss from the last time it was saved. But basically, when a reservation gets hung in here, you've lost it anyways. Okay, there's no way to recover it. So come in here and clear the reservation so the user can get back into the file, see what got missed, put things back in so that you can continue to move forward. Okay, it's as simple as that. You want to be really careful when you delete it. But again, people are very leery at coming in here and doing it. They think they're deleting the loan. You're not. You're simply deleting the reservation on the loan. Not too complicated. Now, you're not going to do much with statuses, everyone. Okay, statuses basically are used mostly by us. All right, when we go in to run maintenance on your system, which we're going to be doing here this week, we're going to be doing an upgrade to get the HMDA changes out there for you for reporting on March 1st. Okay, you're going to find that you would come in and you will notice that we've run different things per your request or per maintenance. We've run a force sync on a data folder. Maybe we simply ran a sync on a data folder. Maybe we rebuilt your template set because you were having difficulties and templates weren't working right. whatever it might be. Basically, when we order up something to be done in the lines of maintenance, it records up here, and when it's done, it records down here as completion. And as you can see, this gets very, very big. Okay, but it's important to be able to go and track back to see what's going on. But it's a very boring screen from a PointCentral admin person that we'd be hosting, because most of what you're going to want when it comes to rebuilds and things like that, you're going to want to request them from us. You're welcome to do them yourself. We will be more than happy to show you, and you're more than welcome to do them. But we have some wonderful scripts in place where if you want to do a forced sync, we can schedule it to run in the middle of the night. So that way, all of the users have full rights to the data as long as they want. In the middle of the night, hopefully when everyone's sleeping, we'll run the forced sync for you, and then everyone will be able to get back in the next morning and no one was inconvenienced. But it's all up to you. Okay? The next thing I want to talk about that I feel a lot of people don't use is the reports. Now, the first thing I let everyone know when it comes to the report screen is this isn't where you come in and run your closed loan report or your active pipeline report. All of that, of course, is done in Point. This is where you run reports about what's going on with your PointCentral admin page. So a lot of you, after this training, are going to want to go back and take a little bit of a closer look at your admin page. So what I would recommend you do is go to the report screen, and this first link doesn't really do anything, okay? I don't know what their initial intent was for it, but it doesn't really do anything. But the second one does. Basically what it does is it assures me that all of my users are all assigned to one of my mini groups. Okay, or I might have them assigned to a multiple group. Now, in this particular case, if I was to be auditing my list of users, and if I was auditing a list of users for a customer that was coming on board, and I saw that they had a user assigned to multiple groups, the first thing I would tell them is you do not want to do this. Okay. All right. If they're already assigned to the manager group and the manager group is given carte blanche access to everything, you wouldn't want to assign them to the processing group. Okay. Everyone thinks along the same lines, especially the ones that are the PointCentral admins that are a little bit more on the techie side. You think that the highest security levels will win out over the lower security levels, but it really works opposite. Okay. So it does cause some conflicts, and you're just adding some additional headaches that you really don't need. Our industry gives us enough. So just be sure to make sure that each one is assigned to their appropriate group and to only one group. That's all you really need. Come back to reports. My most favorite, okay, not this one. This one is reverse. This one simply lists my groups and it shows me what users are in. So this is nice if I want to group them together. It's a quick filter, but basically it's really no different than this group here. It's just grouping them. But my favorite one that I like is my data folders. Okay, now let me explain why. If I need to make a change to a data folder, I have to come up to data folders, go to list data folders. I have to find the data folder I want to do something with. I have to edit it. And then I have to come down here and I have to edit the group. And then I have to go in and make my changes. Those are a few mouse clicks, okay? And then I have to go do that for each one, and it gets a little crazy as far as I'm concerned. What I like about this is I can go to reports and to data folders, and when I do, it lists all of my data folders, and it lists all of the groups assigned to the data folders, and it gives me this wonderful little link over here that says view. Well, guess what, everyone? This is mislabeled. This isn't actually view. This is actually edit. So if I want to make changes to my data folders for security-wise, I will always go to reports to data folders, come to this screen, go to the folder I want to make changes to, go to the group and click on view. What it does is it actually takes me directly there. So I got where I wanted to go in 3 mouse clicks versus 5. Okay, it was easier to find. It's there. I can come down and make all the changes I want and simply click Update Group Access below. If this isn't the group that I want, I can simply cancel it. It'll take me back to the original. I can switch out to the group. So I kind of like that. It makes it a little bit easier to get where I'm going. It does a nice job. And what most people don't understand is on here, they think it's view when actually it's edit. So it's a nice little feature. And then, of course, the templates. You want to make sure that everyone is assigned to a template group, as we talked before. It doesn't mean you have to give them rights to be able to add or make changes to the templates, but you want to give them access to the templates. You don't want them doing templates on their local computers, because what's going to happen, and it's inevitable, is their local computer is going to crash and they're going to lose everything they had, and they're going to scream and yell at you because You told them that their data was stored on the PointCentral server. And then they're going to discover that it wasn't necessarily a true statement, and they're going to be very upset. And in a way, you can't blame them, and we don't want that to happen. I'm sure they worked hard on their templates. We want to make sure that everything is stored on the server. Okay? And then, of course, the Cardex is the same. And in this particular case, because I don't have Cardex rights and stuff granted right now, I'm coming up a little empty there, but it would be showing me the same thing. The one at the bottom is rules, groups, and users with access rights, because I don't have rules, and I do not have rules enabled on my PointCentral admin page. If I was to go here, it's going to come up blank. But if you get into using the rule engine, and again, like I said, reach out to Calix's training department. They do a great job, and let them show you how to set up those rules to put some stops on data being entered into the system to control, to make sure that you have everything you need to comply with those federal and state reporting acts. Okay, everyone? So that's what we were going to cover on today's call. Today was going to be a little bit shorter than the ones have been in the past. So give me a moment, and I'm going to step over and take a look at the questions and see if we have anything. And by the way, everyone, thank you for the ones that replied that you could hear me. Okay, so one says, I can't see the writing on the screen. It's very small. Can you enlarge it, please? I am so sorry that you weren't able to see that. Hopefully it'll be a little bit more visible to you in the recording. I do apologize. When you say rights, do you mean rights to use or rights to edit? Well, basically, oh, you said, okay, I got it. So can they still create their own templates that are on their computer but not the server? Absolutely. Don't give them rights to the template set on the server, and they will by default create their templates on their local computer. If that's what you wish to do, there's no right or I always tell everyone when I'm deploying someone on PointCentral, there's no right or wrong way to set up your PointCentral admin page. It's the way that works best for you and your company. We're always here to make suggestions to our customers to help them, but we are never here to dictate, nor would we ever attempt to dictate what would be the right way or the wrong way to do it. So yes, if you wish to have your templates done local and you don't want them on a central, in your central template set, simply don't give them rights and they can still create local. Can we request additional space? Ours is full. I haven't heard of that before. Yes, you can. If we're hosting, please, after this call our support line. That number is going to be 480-346-1299, option 1. Again, that number is 480-346-1299, option 1. Reach out to them, let them take a look at your server and see what they can do to get that fixed. You must have a lot out there. I haven't heard of anyone maxing that out, but they can get that taken care of for you right away. How do you get the license number for the realtor to show on the Cardex? That's a point bug. I've heard of that from prior customers, and unfortunately you can't. The best that you can do is copy and paste it from the Cardex. I've been told that they're working on the bug, but they haven't fixed it. The next one is, Pam, are you dropping in and out of audio? Oh, I'm so sorry. Someone said that they were having trouble hearing me. I do apologize. Hopefully the recording will be better. Also, I constantly have to refresh the digital key every time I add users because it shows the wrong number of available seats. Okay, that is true. You do have to. And the email that you get from Calix with instructions on how to add the additional user that you purchase from them does tell you in those instructions that you have to refresh the digital key. Otherwise, you have to wait 72 hours, and from what I understand, the system will do it on its own, but I don't think you want to wait 72 hours to have that happen. So because it's not a built-in automatic refresh within their code, you will have to do that manually. And what they're referring to, everyone, is coming here to configurations and parameters, and coming down here to refresh their digital key so that when they go to their home page, they can see that their number of licensed users has increased by 1 or 2 or whatever they've purchased, which this also shows you how many licenses are in use and how many licenses are remaining. Okay, so that's very important. Can you make a template to make a to-be-determined folder before? Can you make a template to make a to-be-determined folder under the search loans data folder? Brenda, I'm not sure I understand that question. I'll tell you what, if you email me after the call, let me try to help you on that one. I'm not sure what you're asking on that one, so I do apologize. But if you want to reach out to me after the call, I'll be more than happy to help. Okay? The last question I have out there is, can they send me their templates for me to upload? I just don't want them making a mess of, let me go that down a little bit more, of the templates on there. Yes, they can. They can, well, no. Let me rephrase that. I do apologize. Unfortunately, they can't. What they can go to their local if they know enough. Okay, all right. You can't within the point system email a template. If that's what you were asking, the answer is definitively no. It cannot be done. You can't go into a template, create it, and email it. It's not possible. Okay, but if they have templates created and they want to send it to you, if they know enough to go to their local C drive and to find the P&T template folder and to go into whatever category they created, maybe it was a borrower master template, find the one that they created because they're stored under the name that they give it, find that template and email that template to you, then you can forward that email. You can either forward it on to us and we can add it to the server for you, or you can call into our customer support line, and while you're on the phone, we can grab that template from you and get it uploaded. You cannot do it directly yourself. I do apologize, but the way your servers are hosted here, you do not have direct access. So you can send it, we can drop it in the folder, run a rebuild on your templates and make it available. So the answer is yes, but it's a little bit more indirect. It's not a direct route. Okay. Do templates need to be created on the PointCentral admin login page rather than within Point Processor's login? No, you cannot create templates on the server. On the PointCentral admin page, you cannot create templates here. They do have to be done in Point, and they can only be created here. Once they're created here and saved, that's where the PointCentral admin page comes into play. It tells Point where to save them and who has rights to them after they're saved. Okay, I have created a few disclosures to add to the print group, but once they are added, they don't seem to print with the entire disclosure package. They show to be in there and added, but do not print. Okay, the only thing that I could add to that is make sure that you have Word installed. Okay, Word is important. It's one of the required software applications when you have Point, is you have to have Word installed on your local computer if you want to use custom forms. If you're using Word, let's see, what do I want to say? Can't think of it. I know that you can use Word, Excel, and Outlook through Microsoft Online. If you're doing something like that online where Word isn't installed on your local computer, there's going to be a problem because Point is using some of those files within that Word install that it needs to be able to generate and to be able to provide with those Word documents. But be sure to reach out to our support line or to Calix's support line. Let them work with you to see what they can do to help you fix that. That should not be happening. I used to do print groups all the time with custom forms and it really did work quite well. Okay, what is my email address? I'll be more than happy to share that with you. Let me go ahead and open up a notepad here. Okay, and my email address, everyone, is Pam.Padley at focusitinc.com. Whoops. So again, my email address is Pam.Padley at focusitinc.com. And I did it in something I can't even enlarge it. And that wasn't very smart of me. Hopefully everyone can see that. And I'll do one better as I'll grab it. And I'll go ahead and I'll paste it in the chat window to be posted to everyone. So you should be able to find that in your chat window, everyone. Okay. All right. Do I have any other questions from this group? You guys have been awesome, and I've really enjoyed this, and I hope that you're finding benefit in attending these training calls, and I hope that you're able to leave at least with gaining at least one new knowledge of something that you didn't know prior to coming to the call. Do we have any other questions? Otherwise, today will be a short call versus the longer ones we've had earlier. Nope, we're good for the day. Well, thank you, Barb. You're very welcome. I really enjoy doing these calls, and I love sharing this information with you. So everyone, have a wonderful day. Stay safe. And don't forget, we have one more call that we're going to be doing next week, okay? And the call is going to be on the 26th. I know I'm creeping toward month end, and I apologize, but it won't be a very lengthy call. But I do want to talk about the things that need to be accomplished under the configuration file, and we'll just touch base on the PointCentral service as well as help. So I do look forward to everyone attending the call next week, and I look forward to sharing what knowledge I have on those, and I appreciate all the additional knowledge everyone shares during these calls. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day. Hopefully you'll join me next week. Bye-bye. Oh, and I will be sending the recording out by end of day, so please keep an eye out for my email. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.